Yo, fam. Okay, we had a bounce in Bitcoin yesterday. Nice bounce up. Okay, and we went from 61,000 all the way up to 64,000. Quite a crazy 24 hours. However, guys, I am not trusting this bounce just yet. I'm actually seeing lower down. So in today's stream, I want to speak around the next buy zones. I do see a higher low incoming. Okay, and I want to speak around where I'm going long and positions that I'm building. And the next thing I really want to talk around is showing you guys an important trend that's showing me there's 7 days for the bears to keep control of the market. And if they don't get us below 57,000, it's very likely we are going to see a strong push up into the 70,000s. Therefore, this next dip is quite important for buying, as the risk rewards are great, but there can be a lot of strong upside within Bitcoin as well as the altcoins. Now, not only do I see the bears losing control in the next 7 days if they don't get through this area, we could be looking at a possible cycle low, right? And I want to speak around that scenario as well. So guys, smash the like button. Let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like 𝗦𝗏𝗡. Welcome to Sheldon Show.
Fam, guys, how we doing out there? It's a little bit snoozy at the moment. I look at the market like a little bit boring. Again, I'm here to say keep going, keep thriving, keep pushing through, keep focused, keep locked in. We're going to have a reset of the cycle. I see yesterday we had Sailor sell a little bit. Market reacted and then realized that, oh, distribution of Sailor is not actually really a bad thing, right? It's crazy how we saw a fast buy up. But there were signs, right? So let's go through a couple of things. Now, again, we are basically running, if you look at the amount of days, right, we're looking at around 6 consecutive green days in a row. Okay, and we actually spoke around a dip off yesterday, and the dip off did start. It actually happened pretty quick, but it was surprising to see a strong bounce. Now, the first sign that I see when I look at this bounce is to say that, guys, we're definitely getting interest in the zone, right? If you look at the last couple of weeks and us just dropping, right, we haven't been getting these zones where we're getting a lot of interest, right? And that's where I was saying that this is the problem, right? The problem is we're coming down to these 60,000s. And that's why I was very like, hey, we can come back down and still hit that big zone we spoke around. I actually tweeted yesterday, right? And it's important to know, right? Bitcoin is at the golden pocket. So if we look at this over here, we're at the golden pocket. Look at the monthly chart here, guys, right? This is the main 618 of the entire wave we had all the way from 2023 all the way up to 2026. Right? And we are now at the golden pocket. So us bouncing here, like there is a scenario where the lows could be anywhere from this area here, right? We got to realize there's a little bit bigger money in the market. We might not pull back as much. You know, I do have this next area over here, which is at the low 40,000s. Okay, but that's not at will, right? We could be seeing a strong, this is known as a very healthy pullback. Not only that, we could actually be getting the very strong next highs. If we hold this, guys, things are very bright for a possible $200,000 Bitcoin in the future. But if we pull back down here, then I'm looking at maybe a 150 type of next cycle type of areas. But nonetheless, we are at the big pocket zones here. And that's why when we didn't have the strength here, we didn't have the buying power, it's very likely to say, hey, leave the limit orders in. Now, I'm still very much long in these areas over here. I'm long altcoins, I'm long Bitcoin, right? The only thing that I've done is I've shifted my stop loss up slightly, right? So my stops are sitting close to the 59,000 now, reducing a little bit of risk. And that's it, right? I'm being patient. I'm holding out. Now, again, the point that I'm getting to here is we are seeing some strength. Now, again, once we got here, we finally got some big engulfing candles. We saw a nice little rally up. But again, as we drop into the zone, that's a strong buy up, guys. That is just showing that some FUD came out, okay? But buying happened, right? And you can see that the moment we're starting to get a little bit of this again, shows me that we're slowly starting to get buying back. And there's definitely interest coming in over here. And all that I can see looking around is how retail are being flushed out right now, right? But when it comes to whales accumulating Bitcoin, is at a very high rate right now, okay? And that's a good sign. When we're starting to see these buys happening nice and aggressive, and we're seeing retail getting flushed out and big wallets buying and buying and buying and buying, we're getting to a point where, hey, when they're loaded up, it's time to set the rockets and start moving up again, okay? But in the interim, it's important to not get short-term volatility to shake you out. So the signs here that I saw was, yes, it was a good buy up, but this was not actually a very bullish candle, right? These pin bar candles that are this way tend to not be pretty bullish. It means that there is still liquidity sitting to the downside over here, and very likely we can make our way down to start filling the wick, right? Now, I want to speak around the scenarios because, again, the signs that we still have, even though we had a higher high yesterday, right, we still have massive bearish divergence in play. right? So that's still another sign to say, hey, yes, we have got a buy up, but we could see a continuation of fast acceleration to the downside. Okay, then the next thing that I kind of looked at was, where did we bounce? Right, where did we bounce yesterday? And if I look at it, all the support sitting down over here, right, and we bounced here, right? We bounced on the 0.5 fib, which is not bad, but there was no major horizontal support. Okay, so when I pop in the fibs here, and I just say, let's just look here, right? When I pop in the Fibonacci's and I put them in, I'm basically looking for the fibs, but I'm also looking for things that kind of back the fibs as well, right? So if I look at the fibs here and I see 618's got this horizontal, right? If I look at the 0.5, it's like in the middle of nowhere, a slight bit of support over here, right? But it doesn't look like a major zone just yet. Now, again, I'm going to play both sides here, okay? But nonetheless, for me, I'm still looking at this as the area of us going down, right? This area over here, and then I'm looking at strength, okay? But now I want to speak around the next thing, which is the two different plays. I want to speak around the time that we have available here for the bears to keep control. Because again, what we're seeing here is the perfect market cycle play out, right? We are seeing this was the complacency, right? Then we saw the denial, and we saw the panic, capitulation, we saw the bounce, anger, and now very much entering depression phase. If the bears don't do this soon, this is coming, right? It will start off with a disbelief wave. And the disbelief wave will do something like this. Then it'll go into a hope phase, right? And then we'll see from this area over here if we're going to squeeze from there or actually have a cool down for another week or two before we start going into the September mark, where I'm looking for the market to go up. I still see, if I look at high time frames this year, right, I still see a possibility of us reaching the areas of $85,000 to $90,000 this year, right? Then we will see here, I'm looking for the higher low of the cycle, right? I'm looking for this or the lower high, right? This over here, this zone here by the end of the year. So I do see big opportunities when it comes to that. Now, again, let's go through here and go through the time frame wise. Okay, so I'm actually going to clean up here on this chart quickly for a sec and just show you guys. So if you look at where the dump started, look at the major high, right? And track that down. Okay, you can see where we are starting to approach now. Right, we are basically sitting at the main resistance. That's exactly where we hit yesterday. And that's why we're finding some turbulence and resistance today. But what it's also doing is you're basically now sitting with a big support zone over here that separates us here and $40,000, right? And then what you have is you have this wall over here in the trend, right, separating us over here all the way up to the mid 70,000s. So you're sitting with these two massive gaps, okay? And what that does is it starts to put a time pressure on the market. And if you look at the time pressure here, it's basically saying that if we're going to get bearish, we're going to get bearish from here quite aggressively. Again, if we're going to bring this 40,000 into topic here, right, this needs to start happening aggressively. And we need to start getting some weekly closes, specifically this week, right, is we want to see that close below this 58, 57,000. Then we start thinking 40,000s, right? So there is a benefit of doubt where I'm going to say, hey, the bears have the next anywhere 8 to 10 days, right, to basically send this market down, send it down, take control, and we start talking about $40,000. But if they don't, it's very likely bulls are going to step in and completely squeeze this market, really catch many off of guard. This trend is indicating for us on when a breakout can happen, specifically on the bull, as well as saying if there's going to be acceleration on the bear side. So if this pullback happens now and we bounce and we think there's very likely a massive short squeeze coming. All right, therefore, I'm paying attention for buys over here for the bullish scenario. And again, the moment we start closing below here, I start to look at bearish scenarios. But for now, bull scenarios are still very much in play. I'm here to give you motivation to stay in the game right now, okay? Because this, for me here, is a big opportunity for us to make incredible trades, right? Really, really, really strong trades over here, but they are running out of time. So this trend gives us that indication of what we're seeing. We are seeing higher highs, higher lows when it comes to the 4-hour time frame. We are seeing mid-time frame bearish divergence, so very likely more downside. So what does this look like, guys? This is the plays that I'm seeing for now, right? The two plays that I'm seeing for now. Okay, there's actually three plays. I'm actually seeing a continuation down. I'm seeing a continuation down, and my big zones that I'm paying attention to, there is two of them. The first one I'm 70% basically locking in on, okay, is the 60,400, 60,500. Now, with that comes liquidity, right? If we map out the liquidity here, we do have all the liquidity starting to build at exactly where I'm saying, right? This mid 60,000s to early 60,000s, there is a ton of liquidity on the higher time frame sitting in this area over here. What we're also noticing is a bit of liquidity forming at the lows, right? Right at the lows is a bit of liquidity forming over here. Now, when it comes to liquidity, I want to look for pools of liquidity, not one specific line. One specific line does indicate there is liquidity building, but you want to see over the next few days this start to build up more, right? If I'm looking at this one over this one. Right now, this is where the pool is starting to form, and that's lining up exactly with the main 618 that I've just given you guys. So this is what I'm playing for over here, is these trade setups here. I'm doing it two kind of ways. I'm laddering in on two levels. I'm laddering in here. A little bit more cash in case we go to 59,400. Okay, but I'm buying a ton as a confirmation of the breaker trend. So I want to see a drop, I want to see a bounce, and then I want to see strength. Why again do I think more down? That bearish divergence is still in play right now. For me to turn bullish from here, right, is let's get above and let's go. We'll be long in this area over here. Until then, I am thinking bear mode. And when it comes to a couple of things just to come as kind of catalysts, right, if I look at stock markets, let's look at the USDT over here. Let's see how this does, okay? But we are approaching the resistance again. I don't like this uprising wedge. We need to see a speed up here in futures pretty soon, okay? But this is telling me, hey, something like that can come into play. So keep that in mind. This might be a catalyst we're looking for. And if you look at the dollar index, right, this is actually making a nice little channel down, okay? But it's on the verge of a possible breakout over here too. So let's keep in mind, if this starts to break out, there's a nice little flush up there, and then I see a push going to the downside. I'm still slightly worried about the stock market, guys. I'm not like super happy with that at the moment. I am looking for temporary possible lows on gold though. So gold is starting to crunch up to the daily trend lines. And after this drop off, if we see another little drop off here, I am looking at possible longs back up to the $5,000 mark. Right, so there is a sign here to say short-term dip into some strength within the markets. And I'm keeping that in mind. Oil's at the 786. Very likely to see some strength come in on oil over there. Now, what this looks like on USDT dominance, agreeing with the same thing. Yes, yesterday's spike was good, but very likely we could see this go slightly higher up and then drop down. So again, what does this mean? Lower low within the markets. What this looks like for altcoins, right, is this. Altcoins did break out. I'm looking for a retest of the altcoins. So again, if I look at kind of percentage-wise, right, I'm looking at basically the areas of around 3 to 5% on altcoin pullbacks from here into the support trends over here. And this is where I'm looking for a bounce. So if I look at the next 2-3 days or so, I'm looking at this. It could happen today. That bearish divergence, very much like yesterday, could be fast, right? Something like this, pull down, and then acceleration. So if you look at things like ETH, here are my scenarios. Bearish scenario, I'm seeing us go to the late 1600s. Bullish scenario, let it break out, we'll buy the retests. Right, so if we look at a bunch of the charts here, same as Solana, Sol right now, I'm getting ready for the mid 70s, which I think is an absolute strong buy. If we look at the trends we broke out, big trends, big buy zones if that happens over there. Okay, bullish scenario again, let it break, let it test, and there'll be some fresh entries. So I do think in the next 24 to 48 hours, we have entries. If it's here or there, there's definitely entries coming into this market. A couple alts that are starting to lead the dump at the moment is things like AVAX. I'm definitely seeing an AVAX drop down to the mid 6s. So I'm going to be buying a little bit of spot over there, paying attention there. Things like render at these zones over here. So again, everything's kind of indicating the same thing. Here's the zones we're waiting for, right? If we break, let us test, and we will have new opportunities to the upside. Guys, make sure you follow me on X. Here we go, follow X. Make sure you're following Sniper Trading. So here's my X over here. Make sure you're following Sniper Trading on YouTube as well. I am, like I said, I'm loading up and I'm busy trading. So what I've done is I'm trading a 50K account on Bybit at the moment. I am starting to trade some gold. So from the next stream, I'm going to give you guys a couple of ideas on gold. I'm waiting for that test that I said earlier. And then I'm actually going to be trading a bunch of gold side to side with crypto as well. If you guys want a Bybit account, link below in the description. Guys, have a fantastic day. See you tomorrow. Lots of love. Bye-bye.